So have you ever gone into your fabric stash and found some projects that you cut out and never finished or even never started? At least I got this one cut. I found one. I can't believe I forgot these. Luscious black cotton velvety fabric. Cut out some pants. It's already cut out. Hope I'm the same size. I want to finish these up because I only have a few months left of winter. I want to wear them, and plus I have some new ideas. I'm going to put a little creative touch on them. I'm going to show you what I did, or going to do, coming up. So I found these pants in my stash, and I remember when I cut them out, it had to be about 2 years ago because it was cold and it was at my old studio. So I've been in my new one about 1.5 years, and it was cold and I figured it out. So about 2 years ago, I can't believe, I remember just so excited to make these pants, and then they just got lost. I forgot all about them. It's such a drag, but I found them now, and it's good because I have a new idea for them, and I'm very excited. So this fabric, just gorgeous. I found this at Joann's a couple years ago, and I told my students, I showed it to them last night, and they were like, "You found that at Joann's?" Everybody, they don't realize that they do have some pockets of pretty cool fabric that they're there. You just have to know what you're looking for and just look around, spend some time. Don't just kind of scan it. Just actually dig through some of the cottons and stuff. You'll find it. But my new idea is, so these are just basic pants. I found the old pattern. This was in my fabric stash, but this was just a basic pant that I made several of these, so I know they fit really good. I'm hoping this one, hope I still fit into where I cut it. I'm sure it fits, but so I found the pattern, and now my new idea is this right here. I keep an idea popper board, and I've had this on there for a while, and I love that. It's kind of more of a bell shape there, but I think I had cut some of the bell shape off of this pattern. I think it's real straight, but I'm going to do like a placket here with some buttons, and then I'm going to add some piping to the side seams like this, and I'm going to add them in white right here. And where I got this white fabric was, I have this fabric in my stash. I just got this a couple months ago, and I love this fabric. It's just like a poly georgette. It's kind of a chiffon, but a little on the georgette side, and it's got 2 rows of all these flowers, and I've got maybe 1.5 yards. So I wanted to make a little skirt out of it with the 2 rows of flowers. But now what I want to do is add the flowers to the pant, or a couple of them anyway. Take maybe off the first row of this, and then I got this fabric. I thought I'll use this fabric for the piping right here. So I cut off a 4-inch strip right here, then I'll double it and put the piping in between, and then use a zipper foot to get right down there, and then have the same piping as the flowers, and that will be really cute. Now I got one of the flowers off. I'm not going to cut the flowers off till I get the pants made. Make sure I want to do that. So this is kind of how it will look, and I'm guesstimating about 5 flowers per pant leg, so that's 10. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to stitch them on permanently. I'm just going to I'm just going to kind of hand stitch them on, and because I thought when I clean them, they could get ruined. I'm probably not going to wash these. I'll have to dry clean them, and my dry cleaner ruined my last dress, so I really hate to get these ruined, but I'll just pop them off, and then I can hand stitch real quick. So if I wanted to wear them again, I'll put these on and then see how they look. So that's my idea. I hope it works out. I'm going to get started. I'm going to start on the piping first, and then sew up all the seams, and I'll show you how I do it. Got my piping done. I sewed this on the machine, just double layered. Got a zipper foot in there, hugged it close, came out pretty good. And then I'm going to sew on the side seams first. In pants, you usually sew the inseam first, but you can do the side seams, especially when you have a piping or something. You gotta, it's even when you do zippers too, it's easier to start with the side seam and then continue on that way. So I'm going to baste this here. I just got it pinned, and baste that on there, and then put the other part on, and hopefully this fits at the end. That's gonna look really cute. I'm gonna finish that up. Got my piping basted on. Just a quick loose stitch just to hold it in place so it's easier to sew on, because especially this chiffon-y Georgette fabric is a little slippery. And if I have to alter this, this is going to take some time to take out. There's going to be a lot of stitches in here, but it should be pretty cute. Then I pinned on the other side. So here's my side seam. I got the one piping in there and pinned it on, and then I'm going to sew it real close to that, and that's what the piping's going to look like. So now I got to take this to the sewing machine, sew that on. Well, this is looking pretty good. I love the piping in there. I'm going to have to press the seam towards the front, which I always like to go towards the back and a little smoother, just so that the piping lays back that way. Also, I had to leave a slit in it because I'm going to put the placket on the side seam. And then I had to press these pants. They had wrinkles in them, and I used a Vella board. I think they call this one I don't know. It's not the ones with all the nails on it. Whenever this fabric has such a nap that you got to press it on something else with a nap so that it doesn't crush. So that would be bad if I put a big iron crush on here. But so I have, next thing I need to do is sew the inseam right here. So I have it pinned and ready to go. And I'm just going to sew that on both of them and sew the crotch seam up, put on the waistband. I kind of used a little bit of a basting stitch here because I just have no idea how these are going to fit, and they have a lot of stretch to them. So it's going to be hard to dig out stitches in this fabric. So on to the next part. Got 2 pant legs sewn up on the inseam and the out seam. Now I got to sew up the crotch seam right here, this curved part. How you do that is you turn one leg right side out like that, and then you put that leg inside the other leg when it's right side's in. And I match up the inseam here, so you have to put it into, grab all that. I've seen my students really struggle with this in the instruction books or the instruction pages trying to describe it, and it is pretty difficult. But so what you do is you match up the 2 inseams here, and you get the 2, like this is the center front seam, and you connect it then to the center back seam. I had to pin all this right like that, and you have the 2 in there like that, and then you sew that seam there 5/8. It just looks really strange, but it's really fun, and it's fun watching people trying to figure that out from the instructions. It's after you do it about 5 times, you get it. It kind of implants it. So I'm going to go sew that up, turn it right side out, and then I have almost my pants. Got the crotch seam sewn. Just a curve right there. I kind of did a loose stitch in there. I'll probably go back over it with a stretch stitch once I get it to fit really good. But what you do now is you got to take one leg out like that. And then so you have one leg in, one leg out, and then you take the other leg out like that. Then voila, we have pants. They're cute little pants with the little piping on it. So now I have to add the waistband, and the waistband looks like this. Just a tube. What I've done, it was pre-cut. This looks a little small. It's got a lot of stretch to it though, so you want to make sure the stretch is going in the direction you need, because there's no stretch that way. And then I just fold it in half, put a crease in it. There's a seam there. And then this just goes onto the top of the pant right here, on top of that pant. And then I'll baste that on and fit it and do the pinning and tapering, see how it fits and all that. Got the waistband on. Looks pretty good. It's all, I just kind of basted it on. It just looks like a big tube in there. So it's just a simple fold over that way. And now this is a good stopping part for me because I'm gonna take these home and try them on in front of my long mirror and see how they fit. I'll get back to you tomorrow and let you know how they did. Well, lucky me, these fit to a T. Oh my gosh. I must have altered that pattern to fit me exactly, and I guess I haven't changed too much. I did gain some weight though. I had a foot injury and was in bed for a couple months actually. So I think the weight's coming off. That's good. But they fit perfectly. There's just a couple little things. The waistband was rolling down a lot, and it's just the fabric, and that drives me crazy. So what I'm going to do is put non-roll elastic in there, and that's what these little vertical lines are for, so that it doesn't roll over. And I'm just going to measure it however this waistband fits, and then shorten it by like an inch, inch and a half, so that it's just comfortable and it just prevents that from rolling over. That's one of the things I got to do. Then I have to go over and all the seams and put a little stronger seam in there and get a little closer to the piping. I've got some gaps in there, which is actually going to make the pants a tad tighter. Well, it'll probably be all right. Just a little ½ inch or so. Then I wanted to, right here, I'm going to taper the inside leg a tad. It's hard to pin myself. It looks a little crooked, but just wanted to mark the spots. I'm just going to kind of go in a little bit and then give it a little bit of a shape on the bottom and get those a little more streamlined. One thing I really got from the fitting is I don't want the slit on the side to be that wide, because then it really opens up while you're walking. So just a little one. This looks about like maybe 4 inches. And also I figured out I put the piping on the wrong side, or just I put it on the back leg, and I want to put it on the front leg just at that part. I think that'll be easy to switch over, because when it flaps over I want the piping on that side, and then underneath here I'm going to put a placket, and I'm thinking about putting a placket in white under there. I'm not sure yet. That's probably the most time consuming part of this whole thing. And I got the hem perfectly. Also, I decided that these flowers, instead of putting them on along the hem, I'm going to put them on the side seam right next to the piping. That'll be kind of pretty when they walk and they'll float like that. So I'm just going to cut off a couple, pin them on, and see how they look after I get all this stuff altered. So I'm going to get to that and I'll be back. All right, back again. Got my pants altered. I got the inseam done, just tapered in the inseam a little bit to give it some shape. Then I got the elastic in. It looks a lot better. It's a lot more comfortable. It stays up. It doesn't like grip. I just kind of made it just a little shorter, just so it just stays up right there. And then I anchored it in on like the centers, like the side seams and then the centers, so that it doesn't move around. It stays there. Then I was working on the hem. That seems to be this whole slit part and everything. It's pretty messy in there, and really had to, I got the hem marked, and then I had to kind of play around with all that piping and stuff in here and get it fit in there well. And then I'm going to add just like a little fake facing. So I just took a little piece of fabric, of the same fabric here, and pressed it in there, and then I'm just going to stitch it in here and cover up all of that mess in there. And the other one I'm just going to stitch here. I have it overlocked and then just stitch the other side. So it looks like this. So I got it all stitched in there right here. So I just kind of did a stitch here, and I actually literally just stitched it all, you know, right through here so you can see all the stitches here. Then I added Velcro because I am going to Velcro the flowers on. So I have Velcro on the back of the little flowers. I have this one stitched in. I just got to hand stitch that so it doesn't show there. And then I can just pop the flowers on the Velcro like that. And then the dry cleaners can't ruin them because I'll pop them off. And then I also came up with another idea. I found these little buttons in my stash. I have about 10 of these. They're just real flat buttons, and I added a piece of the white Velcro behind it. They're like the self-stick ones, and since these are just little tabs I put on here, I'm gonna add also, this is a different way of wearing these pants, a little more tailored kind of thing. You don't want flowers bouncing around one day. Gonna add buttons to it. So now I have a pair of pants that has two choices. So I have buttons or flowers. I could also do button and a flower, like that. Looks a little strange, but so that is pretty fun. I could really customized my pants. So the pants that I had cut out years ago, I'm kind of glad I waited because I probably wouldn't have done that a few years ago. So now I'm going to try them on, see how they look, and I'll let you know. Well, my pants are done. Ta-da! Ta-da! This is the back, the button side, and the flower side. That's kind of fun. I'm going to enjoy wearing these pants, and I love black pants. I love black. Actually, I love brown, but brown hasn't been around lately. You can't seem to find any good fabric, so I wear a lot of black. This makes it look a little thinner, I suppose. Anyway, so thanks for joining me for my creation of my black pants that I started years ago. It took me a long time to finish these. But go ahead and subscribe, and I'll send you some more fashion creations as I come up with them. And I'll see you in the next video.